and welcome to Season 27 of ECCB Connects. ECCB Connects is produced by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank to share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you. We kick off the season with a new segment, ECCB In Action. It highlights what the ECCB has been doing to maintain the strength of the EC dollar and the stability of the financial system, promote growth and development, and advance the good of the people of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. In this program, we share a summary of the work the ECCB undertook over the period September to December 2024 in pursuit of its strategic objectives of financial stability, payment system modernization and financial inclusion, environmental, social and corporate governance, digital and data transformation, and organizational effectiveness and development. We begin with financial stability. The ECCU credit reporting system was launched in Antigua and Barbuda on September 1, 2024. That marked a transformative step towards strengthened financial sector, improved access to credit, and enhanced financial inclusion for the people of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. The Chief Executive Officer of EveryData, the company which operates and manages the ECCU Credit Bureau, explains what this means for individuals and businesses.
The Credit Bureau is a mechanism for institutions to share information efficiently and securely, meaning that when I now apply for credit, or when a consumer applies for credit, they can firstly sign a form with the institution to say, I give you consent to check my information on the Bureau. That's very important because nobody can check our information on the Bureau without our written consent. So I sign a form to say, I give you consent. The institution can then in real time query the Credit Bureau and get a full exposure of my credit, where I owe money, or what my exposure is, etc. And that means that the institution can make an informed decision to give credit, yes or no, or how much to give in real time or in a very short space of time. So what it means for a consumer is those days of having to wait days and weeks for your credit to get approved will no longer be applicable. You will get credit mostly on the same day. And also we are endeavoring to implement value-added products so that there can be real-time credit, which means you get the credit at the same time that you apply.
The ECCU Credit Bureau is scheduled to be launched in Grenada, St. Christopher and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines by March. ECCB member countries will soon have access to funding for renewable energy projects. The ECCB's establishment of the ECCU Resilient Renewable Energy Infrastructure Investment Facility presents a new approach to improve the access to and availability of finance for much-needed innovation in the energy sector. Senior Project Officer and lead on the project, Kieran Saint-Omer, outlines the objectives of this facility.
The objective of the facility is to help accelerate large-scale solar production in the ECCU, and that will help diversify our energy mix and our power generation needs, which are at least 90% fuel-based, which means a significant amount of our revenues are being spent to import expensive fossil fuels for power generation in the ECCU. Another critical objective of the facility is to help the region and developers to be more responsive to the development risks in the ECCU in that sector. The facility will help crowd in private sector financing. So far, the facility has been able to generate at least 150 million by blending both public sources of finance to attract private sector financing, and we're looking to accelerate the green energy transition to at least triple our current 34 megawatts that we have in the region by 2030. That is within the next 5 years.
This regional initiative is a collaborative engagement with the World Bank and all ECCB member countries. Neha Muki is Senior Energy and Climate Specialist at the World Bank.
Before we embarked on developing in this initiative, this facility, we took stock of what is happening in the region already. There have been different initiatives, efforts, but they all have different focuses. For example, some existing initiatives focus on distributed energy, which is rooftop solar, small-scale investments. But there's been a gap to look at large-scale, utility-scale investments in a more concerted way, in a focused way, in a way that focuses specifically on the unique challenges that the ECCU member states face. In addition to that, this facility brings together a whole ecosystem of solutions for the renewable energy sector. It will be providing support on project preparation. It will be providing support on procurement, competitive procurement, so that the pricing for these renewable energy contracts are more attractive. Then it provides financial innovation to help reduce barriers for financing, commercial financing coming in to develop these projects. Then there is the aspect of regional coordination, which are these two aspects of the project that I'm talking about, the competitive procurement and financial innovation through instruments such as risk mitigation instruments. In addition to these regionally coordinated activities, there's also country-specific activities where we are working with the countries and the utilities to strengthen the national power grids. So these grids can absorb and integrate more renewable energy.
The initial rollout of the facility is expected by June. Citizens and residents of the ECCU now have access to basic accounts. In a circular issued in November 2024 to the CEOs of licensed financial institutions operating in the ECCU, the ECCB encouraged all licensed financial institutions governed under the Banking Act of 2015 to make basic accounts available to their customers effective the first day of December 2024. A basic account seeks to provide access to the unbanked and underserved individuals in the currency union and offers convenient, safe, and affordable access to the financial system. The ECCB has been working closely with the ECCU Bankers Association through a joint working group on this important development. Deputy Director in the Financial Sector Supervision Department, Levi Burton-Mark, has more.
The basic bank account, which requires one piece of ID for opening, will allow persons to open an account and have access to various financial services within the formal financial sector. These would include online banking, check services, as well as point-of-sale and ATM services. Most importantly, the basic account attracts no maintenance fees for our citizens. The basic bank account will allow persons to establish what we consider to be a transaction history, which will allow them to access even greater and more services within our financial system.
As part of its mandate to advance the safety, soundness, solvency, and reliability of the financial system, the ECCB conducted risk-based surveillance and on-site activities at various licensed financial institutions operating in the ECCU. The work included safety and soundness, anti-money laundering, and information technology examinations to determine their risk profiles, financial condition, risk management practices, corporate governance, and compliance with relevant regulatory and supervisory requirements. Deputy Director in the Banking Supervisory Unit of the Financial Sector Supervision Department, Leon Irish-Wade, explains how the ECCB executes this function.
The ECCB's risk-based supervisory framework was introduced in 2018, and it has many benefits. But today I will only focus on three major ones. So the first one being, it is forward-looking. And that means that it looks at current and future risk, allowing them to look at early intervention and remediation strategies for our licensed financial institutions. Secondly, it focuses on what matters. and that is the areas of higher risk that pose a threat to the financial stability of our licensed financial institutions. And thirdly, it assesses the adequacy of the risk management practices and corporate governance oversight of senior management and the board of directors. And all of these assist us in ensuring stability, soundness, and safety and resiliency of our licensed financial institutions, and by extension, the financial stability of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Thereby, it helps us in protecting the deposits of the people of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union.
In the era of payment system modernization and financial inclusion, the ECCB, in collaboration with the OECS Commission, under the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project, engaged a consultant to draft harmonized data protection and privacy legislation for the ECCU. The main objective of this harmonized legislation is to protect private information in a manner that meets international standards within the context of a digital financial space. We hear more from Deputy General Counsel and the Deputy Director of Financial Sector Supervision Department, Gillian Skerritt.
At a very high level, it is simply to protect private financial data, private financial information of the citizens of the ECCU. It will control and dictate the responsibilities of data handlers, data processors, and it is geared toward protecting the fundamental right to privacy. So when I talk about or refer to the right to privacy, it's a constitutional right, of course, but we are referring to natural persons and we're referring to legal entities. We hope to see expressed in the legislation restrictions on the sharing of personal data. We hope to see the rights of the data subject, the owner of that information, clearly defined, where there are limits on retention by the data handlers, where there's a right of that data subject to have accurate information shared, where there's a right of the data subject to know when, where, and for what purpose the information or his or her information is being shared. So we're very excited about this bill. It's a new policy direction with regard to data protection and privacy. And once this bill is enacted, the people of the ECCU can look forward to enhanced protection and monitoring of their private financial data.
We now move on to environmental, social, and corporate governance. Preparations have begun for the 8th Growth and Resilience Dialogue, which will take place this April under the theme In Pursuit of Extraordinary Excellence. The 3 topics for this two-day engagement are aligned with the region's transformation agenda: heritage, tourism, and sports, developing and protecting our gold mines; addressing the region's data divide, and its electronic vehicles, economic linkages, and transformation potential for the Caribbean. This year's dialogue will feature the Solar Energy Power Up Challenge. It targets students enrolled in mechanics and engineering programs at technical colleges, as well as entrepreneurs operating in the automobile industry and the solar energy sector.
Welcome to the Solar Energy Challenge, where innovation meets sustainability. This is Power Up, a groundbreaking initiative that's driving the future of transportation. Imagine converting bicycles, motorcycles, cars, trucks, and more into eco-friendly machines powered entirely by the sun. Form your team of 4 to 10 persons, choose your vehicle, design your solar propulsion system, and join the revolution. Register today and be a part of the future of sustainable transportation. Are you ready to power up? Driving the future with solar energy. For more details and to register, visit www.eccb-centralbank.org. Let's power the world, one vehicle at a time.
We will have more about this exciting challenge in a subsequent program. During the period under review, the ECCB continued preparatory work towards DCash 2.0. This is an advanced, integrated, user-friendly, commercial-grade retail central bank digital currency solution. Following the close of the DCash pilot in January 2024, the ECCB has focused on extensive stakeholder engagements, gathering insights from financial institutions, credit unions, regulatory bodies, fintech developers, and government agencies. The revamped DCash website was launched in November 2024 to serve as the central hub for communication about the project. The ECCB also administered the DCash public survey in November to gather valuable public feedback about attitudes towards digital finance and expectations for DCash 2.0. The response to the survey will be instrumental in influencing the design and functionality of the DCash 2.0 system. We now turn to organizational effectiveness and development. The ECCB has drafted simplified due diligence guidelines for institutions in the 6 member countries where it is named regulator for anti-money laundering, countering financing of terrorism for institutions licensed under the Banking Act.
These guidelines ensure that these licensed financial institutions under the Banking Act apply simplified due diligence measures where risk rating has been applied and these customers have been identified as low risk. This process is applied at onboarding for the updating and ongoing monitoring of customers' accounts. In essence, these guidelines ensure that customers, the average citizens, are not unnecessarily subjected to an enhanced process where they have been identified to have low risk, therefore not hindering their ease of transacting at their respective banking institution.
On the legislative front, the Banking Amendment Bill 2024 was submitted to member governments in November 2024 for enactment. A key feature of the bill is the introduction of a schema for financial market conduct regulation within the ECCU. This is intended to protect financial consumers and facilitate financial inclusion. All ECCB member countries have signed the Deposit Insurance Corporation Agreement and the correlating enacting bill. The agreement primarily provides the framework for bringing the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union in line with international best practices with respect to having a comprehensive financial safety net system. Its underlying purpose is to ensure the financial intermediation process is not severely disrupted by negative events such as bank failures. The ECCB is expected to receive the signed agreement in the coming months, after which it will be submitted to member countries for enactment. Over the period September to December 2024, the ECCB held several networking meetings, including the joint meeting with Accountants General, Audit and Budget Directors. The theme of that engagement was aligning government's operating environment to best practice. The issues discussed included strategies for effective cash flow management and forecasting, best practices for Accountants General offices, and a proposal for alternate method for settling pension payments. The 19th meeting with licensed financial institutions was held in November and guided by the theme, Accelerating Transformation Through Technological Advancements. The annual meeting with ECCU Commissioners of Police was also convened in November. Here's where we end this episode of ECCB Connects. We introduced a new segment, ECCB In Action, a quarterly update on the ECCB's service to you, the people of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Thanks for watching. We invite you to join us next week for another program.